Hi everyone, my name is Caroline Dusabe. I'm a Senior Education Advisor at Save the Children Australia. And today I decided to do one of my field notes in video. It's 2026, why not? And I wanted to share a little bit what I learned from my recent visit to Vanuatu. So I was in Vanuatu last week conducting a training with the Ministry of Education and Training, the MOET. And the training workshop was for educators, including teachers, principals, literacy coaches, on strategies for home reading support for children in Vanuatu. Because in Vanuatu, recent PILNA study, the Pacific Islands Literacy and Numeracy Assessment, results from the 2021 study revealed that 21% of Year 4 students in Vanuatu are not reading according to grade level expectations. They're not meeting minimum proficiency standards for reading. So the Ministry of Education, with support from the Global Partnership for Education, the GPE, launched a project, a system transformation project, not just a project, a program, with different interventions to support reading. And one of those, the components of the program, is a home reading support program. And so I was delivering the training, which included looking at strategies for parental and community support for reading, but also developing home reading journals. Because in Vanuatu, one of the challenges that students face is the lack of reading resources, and of course also the reading habits. So in the baseline survey for this system transformation grant, it was revealed that 46% of children read at home, or the question was for if students have read at home the previous day, and only 46% of children had done that. And for children to develop good reading skills, they need to be reading every day. So reading becoming a habit that children practice every day at home and also at school. So there is a long way to go in terms of supporting these reading habits, and also addressing the gaps in terms of the resources, in terms of the support for parents. So during the training, we looked at the home reading environment and how that can be leveraged to support reading. We know that 75% of the opportunity for learning is in the home environment, which surprises a lot of people, because people think reading only happens at school, or learning happens at school in the formal environment. But actually, if you consider the time that children are awake, they are not engaged in activities like eating, but they are awake and available for learning. We find that the opportunity for learning is higher in the home environment. 75% of opportunity for learning is outside of the classroom, especially if you also consider that sometimes the students are in the classroom but they are not learning. Students are in the classroom, the teacher is not present. Students are in the classroom, the teacher is present but they are not on task. So all those are reasons why sometimes the opportunity for learning in the classroom environment is constrained. So we have to think about how to take advantage of the 75% of the time that is available outside of the classroom. And that includes engaging parents. We also know that parents are the first teachers of their children. They are not professional teachers, of course. We don't expect them to have pedagogical skills like a teacher who has been formally trained, but they are the first teachers of their children, and they can do a lot to support children's reading and learning in general. So during the training, we looked at how to improve the home learning environment, and we were very specific to think about at least 5 elements of the home learning environment that need to be transformed in order to have the quality support for reading at home. So one is the literacy practices that children are engaging with either individually or with their family members. So that includes things like reading together, singing, talking. And with the reading practices, we also want to emphasize the quality and the frequency. So how can reading be of high quality? How can talk be of high quality? We talked a lot about two-way talk between parents and children, using open-ended questions where children can be invited to use lots and lots of words to be able to communicate. We talked about using rich language, so avoiding baby talk, for example, or avoiding using very simple words because you think the child is not going to understand. So we want parents to use rich language. Talk to your child as you talk to an adult. Use interesting words. Use interesting vocabulary. If necessary, you can explain, but talk like you would to an adult, and allow the child to talk to you using many words by encouraging them through the open-ended questions, through prompts. And so this will cover the literacy practices component of the home learning environment. We also looked at supporting the motivation, the interest, and also the reading identity of children through things like praise. If your child is telling you a story, show joy on your face, use a warm voice, praise them for the effort. And also we talked about the reading resources. So yes, we are going to create home reading journals. There will be books from the school that children can borrow, but also parents can make reading resources at home using available materials. And we also talked about the space for reading within the home routine. So the third component or element of the home learning environment that we talked about is the structure and the routine. Young children thrive with routine. So parents can set some routines that support the reading habits development, that make the home life predictable for children. It invites children to feel safe and also to feel like they know what is coming next. So for example, a home routine could include, bathing, eating, reading, sleeping, something like that, simple. If it's done repeatedly, then it becomes part of the child's routine and becomes easier for the child to cooperate with the parent, but also it ingrains reading as one of the habits, the routines that the child is doing every day. Then we talked about the parents' beliefs, knowledge, and also self-efficacy. Parents will support children to read if they believe that they have the capacity to do it. Most of the parents that I work with start off with low self-efficacy and low confidence in supporting their children's reading, especially for parents who are not literate. We want the parents to know that whether you are literate or not, whether you know the language or not, there are things that you can do to support your children's reading. In Vanuatu, for example, the children we are working with in upper primary, they are reading in French and English. Most of the parents will speak their mother tongue or Bishrama, which is a pidgin. So we want the parents to know that even though they cannot speak French and English, they can still support their children's reading outcomes. They can support their reading habits. They can engage with the story that the children are reading or the text through questions, through asking the child to retell in their mother tongue what they have read, through providing the space for reading. But also we know that the skills that the children acquire in their mother tongue are transferable to the second languages, so the language of instruction. So if they are reading in Bishrama or in the mother tongue, it does help the reading in the English and French. So we want parents to know that they have the capacity, they can do it, and it is possible to do even when you're not literate. And then one of the interesting things I learned from the workshop was thinking about bringing the joy, the positive emotion to reading. We know that reading is a whole brain activity. When a child is reading, all the cortex of the brain are activated. Motor cortex is activated. Frontal cortex is activated. The emotional centers of the brain are all activated in the reading activity. And we know that reading supports brain development, the development of strong brain pathways, but also we know that the more frequently the child reads, the stronger the pathways in the brain that support reading comprehension become. So more reading means the pathways in the brain that support reading comprehension will become stronger. They will become also more efficient in terms of delivering information quickly. Because for comprehension, reading comprehension to happen, we need fluency, we need automaticity, we need speed. So the child needs to read more frequently in order for those pathways to become stronger and more efficient. So the emotional component of reading is very, very important. Making reading enjoyable, joyful, so that children want to do it more and more. During the training, I did something which I had not planned actually. It was just supposed to be like something to release the creative juices before we start writing. So I asked everyone in the room to write about their favorite place in Vanuatu. And to my greatest surprise, that little activity set the tone for the whole workshop. The 3 days of the workshop were dedicated to actual writing different texts, non-fiction and fiction texts. But that activity, which was supposed to be just like an icebreaker or fun, it just set the tone for the whole workshop. Everybody was in such a great mood. Everyone got a chance to read to us about their favorite place, or somebody else read a text from another person. The participants wrote songs, they wrote poems, they wrote advertisements for their villages, and they wrote about the wonderful beaches, the volcanoes, the food. It was so amazing. So the whole environment was electric with positive energy and with positive emotion, and the quality of the texts that were produced reflected that. So I started thinking to myself, how can we do that also for children in the classroom and also in the home environment? And this is not new because the latest science in reading and neuroeducation, it shows the very huge importance of positive emotion and activating positive emotion in the reading activity. So some things that I'm thinking about is, first of all, the story that is being told, or the text, how it's written with humor, with fun, avoiding, dogmatic and old structures that are moralistic. Yes, we can pass a moral message, but in a fun and enjoyable way. Making sure that after the reading activity, there's some extension activities that that support children to engage with the text, especially art integration. So asking the children to draw, to paint, to write a song, to dramatize about what they've read. That will activate positive emotion in children and connect them with reading as a joyful activity. But also it supports the development of other 21st century skills that we want the children to develop: communication, problem solving, creativity. So we want the reading activity to do way more than just support the acquisition of the skill of reading or the mechanics of reading. We want reading to be joyful, and the reading activity and what happens before and after the reading to be harnessed to support children to develop multiple skills. And this is what we are aiming to do in Vanuatu. So I'm very excited about the work. I'm very excited about the texts that the participants have written. I can't wait to see them in the hands of children. And I'm really grateful to the Ministry of Education and Training in Vanuatu, Save the Children Vanuatu, the Global Partnership for Education, it was such an honor to facilitate such a wonderful workshop. I think one of the best workshops I've ever facilitated in my more than 7 years international education career. So yeah, thank you so much, Vanuatu, for giving me such a gift. Thank you.